I'm answering real questions from real Amazon sellers so you don't make the same mistakes. The biggest mistake that I made as an Amazon seller, and the mistake that you can avoid doing by learning from me, is continuing to do retail dropshipping on the Amazon platform. Even though retail dropshipping was always a gray area before 2017 and 2018, a lot of people were doing it and getting away with it, and you could scale a really, really large business doing that. My problem is, even though I started to notice a lot of people getting suspended for retail dropshipping in 2017, early 2018, I kept doing it, and then in Q3 2018, I lost my Amazon store. I almost didn't get it back, and my Amazon store was generating me over $20,000 a month in profit. It was my main breadwinner in 2018, and it took me 5 months of getting the store back. I had to pay 2 separate appeal teams pretty decent sums of money. So that was probably my number one largest mistake. The next mistake would have been not putting as much money in the first couple of years into the business as I could have or should have. Mind you, I was limited on how much money I had. So, if I had a lot more money, I definitely would have put it in, and I would have been able to get further a lot faster. I knew it was time to quit my 9-to-5 and focus full-time on Amazon once I made about a couple $100s more with my Amazon business versus how much I made with my job. So my job was paying me about $1,500 a month at the time. This was in early 2015. I started selling on Amazon in 2014. In 2015, I'd already been doing Amazon for about 5-6 months. And in my 5th month of selling on Amazon and eBay, I made about $100 and something more with the business than I did at my job. And in the next 30 days, I quit the job. Hindsight's 2020, so if I could go back and keep the job for an additional 6 months, I would have made another $10,000 from that job, as well as the money I was making from the business. You can't always just rely on one source of income, whether it's a business or a job, but that was when I knew is when I was making more with the business than I was at my job. So what makes selling on Amazon better than selling on Shopify? Well, selling on Amazon, it's a lot more of a simple business model, and there's also a lot less cost associated. Now, people are probably thinking, why is there less cost? Amazon has all these seller fees, Shopify fees are less. But selling on Shopify, you get access to 0 customers. On Amazon, you get access to millions of customers. And if you're reselling brand name items, you do not need to spend a single penny on advertising and marketing. So that's the number one differentiating factor between Amazon and Shopify, is the fact you don't got to spend money on marketing and advertising. You just need to find products from good suppliers that have good enough prices that when you mark them up for a profit to sell on Amazon, you can actually make a profit. I normally aim to make a profit of at least 8 to 10% on the very low end, and some products all the way up to 50 to 60% gross margins on Amazon. Yes, you can have really, really high margins on Amazon, but by the time you build a multi-million-dollar business, especially through wholesale or reselling brand name items, you cannot expect to have a 40 or a 50% profit margin in e-commerce, even though you're not spending on marketing and advertising. But that is going to be the main factor why Amazon is better than Shopify. So if you have a really, really awesome product, but you think it's too close or too similar to a very large brand name, like a brand name competitor, let's say you have a ride-on toy that you could do really well selling it on Amazon, but then you have all those Fisher-Price ride-on toys that are, absolutely killing it. If you have one that's very similar, as long as it's not directly obvious that it's going to cause IP issues, you're not using the same names in your descriptions, like you're not using Fisher-Price or Paw Patrol or something like that in your listing. Even if it's a similar item, as long as it's not a fake replica knockoff from China, you're going to be fine. When you do the research on the product, you find an opportunity beyond the fact the product is cool in your opinion. If you think the product has unexplored keywords that your competitors are using, even if they are the very large competitors, based on pricing, so if you have a good price strategy, if you can be in the lower 10 to 20th percentile, so basically if every competing product to yours, maybe they sell for $60 to $100 and you can sell between $60 and $75, that's in the lower 20th percentile, so price-wise you're good. And keywords depends on what kind of keywords, and then it also depends on how many are ranked on the first page of Amazon with a very large amount of reviews. If there is an extremely high amount of competition, then obviously it's going to be difficult, especially if your competitors are the really, really large $1 billion and $100 million companies. So you're just getting started, but you only have about $1,000 budget to sell on Amazon. What should you do? So what I would recommend would be 2 things. So 1, stay away from Alibaba China private label. You're going to need at least $5,000 just for marketing and advertising costs for your first product. Not every product being a winner means you need a very large sum of money to make private label and buying from Alibaba work. Yes, there is the odd seller, I would say 1 out of 1,000, that is able to make it work for a few hundred to a couple $1,000s. But long term, if you want to build a multiple 6-figure or 7+ figure business on Amazon and you're only starting with $1,000, products. You're going to need to do one, wholesale FBA and reselling brand name items, because you don't need a marketing and advertising budget. Your only budget is literally going to be for the products themselves. So that keeps your budget down and the amount of money you have to spend down, and you can actually turn profit on that first 1,000 and compound it slowly over time by reinvesting your profits, adding some more money when you have it available to you in the future through credit card increases, new credit lines, opening a business bank account and getting a credit line or a Visa card, that type of thing. Number 2 recommendation, if you don't want to do the wholesale FBA, you kind of are set on the private label, use private label dropship suppliers that allow you to dropship 1 unit at a time, so therefore you do not have to buy in bulk. An example of a couple of these suppliers would be On Demand Fulfillment, Rocktomic Labs, or just going to a website like Doba and finding some suppliers that are North American based that will ship fast so Amazon customers aren't waiting, and therefore you can build the business via dropshipping, which is allowed on Amazon if it's private label. Keeping track of inventory. Now, Amazon has only very, very basic stuff in terms of keeping track of your inventory, like what's on your inventory page. You have your inventory and returns reports, but you can use software like Helium 10 where you can actually track all of your inventory. Helium 10 makes it a little bit easier, and you can even download the reports for keeping track of your inventory and export to an Excel sheet. And this makes keeping track of your inventory a lot simpler. If you're ready to sell on Amazon, but you don't know what to do next and you want my mentorship, it starts for as low as $48 with the Launch Your Empire course, or $7.97 for my full-scale mentorship as Mastering Amazon, which you can find at supremecommercetraining.com or in the link below.